to another episode of Crossroads Rebuild. My name is Steven, and this is my 2007 Ford Fusion, my first salvage car rebuild project. Today I want to get started putting this car back together, but it is really cold and it is getting ready to snow. There's currently a winter weather advisory, and they're saying snow is just a little ways out. But I'm back from Christmas break and I want to get some progress done on this car. So I'm going to go ahead and get started doing whatever I can before the snow comes. And I'm going to do my best not to freeze in the process. First I'm going to show you some of the things that I've discovered while taking the car apart, and then we'll get started putting it back together.
Alright, I've got the hood off so that we can look a little bit better. First I wanted to point out, I've had a few questions in the comments about was the frame actually damaged or not. And the good news is it was not. Now over here I'll show you the crash bar that I pulled off, the main bumper crash bar here. The structure of the crash bar actually was not hit at all. It's totally untouched. However, you've got these brackets here on either side that the radiator core support and a few other things bolt to. And when the impact happened up higher, and it crushed the radiator and the radiator core support and all of that, it did bend those brackets. You know, the right person with the right tools might be able to fix that, but they're inexpensive enough that I went ahead and just bought a new one that I'll be putting on here. But before I get to putting on the crash bar and the radiator core support and all of that, first I want to take care of some things that need to be replaced and it'll be easier while all of this is still open. A few things that need replacing that'll be easier to replace while all of the front is still disassembled are the airbox. As you can see here, this airbox took a hit and broke, so I've pulled another one off of a car in a salvage yard. That should be a pretty easy direct bolt on. Also, somebody noticed this, very observant, and mentioned in the comments, but here the throttle body took a hit. I've actually started this car. The throttle body does still work. However, where it plugs in here broke in the impact, and that's obviously not going to be okay to leave it that way. So I am replacing the throttle body with one that I got off of another car as well. In addition to that, I also have over here the power steering fluid reservoir. Let's see if we can get this thing to focus. The power steering fluid reservoir, the power steering pump I believe is fine, but the reservoir took a hit, and so I've got a replacement reservoir that I'm going to put on here as well. So those three things will be things that will be much easier to do while the front of the car is disassembled, and once those are off, then we can get into putting the structure of the car back together. Alright, problem number one. Well, as you can see, it's already snowed here and it's been really cold over the last couple of weeks. Well, not weeks, couple of days anyway. And some of the parts I've stored in the trunk, and the trunk is frozen shut. I mean, it is just shut tight. So I'm gonna have to try to figure out how to get in there and see if I can get the air filter out of there, because that is where I've stored it. You'd think, oh, you just go in through the back seats, and that's great, but the back seats open from inside the trunk. So I'll check back in with you once I figure out how to get in the car. All right, I was able to get the trunk open. Now I can get in, get some of the parts that I've stored in here, and get to work. First thing I need is the airbox.
Well, it's as simple as that. The replacement airbox is in, and I will attach that and put a new air filter in it here in a moment. First, we're going to go ahead and pull off the throttle body. All right, got the old throttle body off, and right here, if it'll focus, you can kind of see what was going on there. There we go. So right here you can see what happened is where the plug plugs into the throttle body, it just broke off that housing there. It was all still connected, and it did work briefly when I started it, but yep, that one's gonna need to be well, I don't know, maybe somebody can rebuild it, but not me. So
I've got a replacement, and we'll go ahead and get that one out, get it ready to put on the car. All right, if you're gonna pull parts off of a salvage car, it pays to double check your part numbers and make sure everything's the same. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but up here at the top, right underneath where the pins go, the part numbers do match. Also here on this label, L3H1, they match there as well. And so we are in good shape. I did cut off part of the harness on the other one just in case mine was broken, but I think mine's just fine. So I'll pull that out and just be able to do a plug and play. Since I've got it off the car, I am gonna go ahead and clean it out though. There's no sense in putting it back on dirty. May as well clean it out before I put it on the car. Alrighty, the air box has been replaced. Throttle body has been replaced and cleaned up, and everything looks good, everything fit properly. So now I'm going to try to tackle this power steering fluid reservoir. This will be a little trickier because, well, there's just a lot of stuff up on top of, you know, where everything connects. So we'll see how it goes, but that's what I'm going to try to do next. All right, it is starting to snow, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off here. I'm freezing, I can hardly even feel my toes. But we got a couple of things done. We got the air cleaner box replaced. I do have a new air filter for it, but I'll put that in later on. Got the throttle body replaced and cleaned, and all of that connected back up. And then I got the power steering reservoir hooked back up as well, the replacement. Actually, I need to go ahead and hook that back up before I knock off for the day. In any case though, I did get all that hooked back up. There's a clip on the top and bottom, and those are a real pain to put on. They probably would be no big deal if you had the power steering pump actually off the car, but I didn't want to do that. So I did it the hard way, but I was able to get it done. I do have some replacement AC lines. It's crazy to even think about talking about AC right now when it is super cold and snowing, but nonetheless, somebody in the summer is going to want that. So got replacement AC lines that I will put on next time, and then I can start putting the front of the car back together. All right, this is where I'm going to stop for the day. It is super cold out here. It started snowing. I can't even feel my feet or my ears, so I'm done for today. I wish I could have gotten more done, but hopefully I'll get a nicer day to start working on this. So I'm going to cover it up and call it quits for today. Thank you for watching. We've had a ton of new subscribers since the last video. Thank you all for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed already, I encourage you please to do so. Don't forget to hit that bell so you can be notified when I upload new videos. And thank you so much for everyone who's joined me following along on this rebuild project and learning curve for me. Thank you, and we'll see you on the next episode of Crossroads Rebuild.